Hello everybody, this is Tech with Gearhead Gaming, and in this video we'll be going over the Warrior class cards from the Witchwood. Warrior is kind of interesting. Warrior has been in a really bad spot for a long time, pretty much ever since the nerfs hit Fiery War Axe. This class has been bad, but Blizzard has seen what has happened and has responded by giving Warrior a bunch of really strong cards. I don't know if giving them a bunch of pretty strong cards will be more successful than what they did with Shaman, which is basically just give it one really busted card. But I have to imagine that with this card pool now, Warrior is going to be able to do something. It is notable that Dead Man's Hand Warrior, at least in the tournament scene, was pretty powerful. It was really well positioned in the meta. And so Warrior wasn't completely dead. Whereas Shaman was more or less completely dead. But I also kind of don't see a lot of those cards fitting in. But either way, Warrior has a lot of options right now. It can continue down the Dead Man's Hand road and build for this ultra late game fatigue type battle. It can make like a mid-range deck with a lot of the cards it's been given. Or with Baku, it can go for like an odd quest warrior type thing, which could be very strong. So Warrior has a lot of options, and I expect them with one of these to make a tier 1 deck. I'm not sure what it is, but I have to imagine with these cards, my gut feeling is they're going to have a tier 1 deck. So let's see the cards. First off, we have Town Crier. This is probably the best card printed for Warrior this set. And I know a lot of new players are going to not really respect this card, but a 1 mana card that generates you a resource is usually pretty good. This puts a body on the board, and it generates you a resource. That's kind of what you want to be doing on turn 1. It's a 1/2, which has particular relevance in this metagame because 1/2s and 1/3s are sort of the bane of Dude Paladin. In fact, a lot of the reason why Dude Paladin even kind of came about was, one, it dodged a lot of the nerfs that had happened, but two, a deck that would have preyed upon it in a big way, which is Tempo Rogue, left. And part of the reason why Tempo Rogue left, or Tempo Rogue beat Dude Paladin, was because it very consistently would play Firefly Elementals on turn 1, and those guys would eat Righteous Protectors, and they would eat dudes, and they do a bunch of work. This guy has the body of a Firefly Elemental, which doesn't sound that impressive, but he's drawing you a card. He's drawing you a relevant card from your deck too. A Rush Minion is probably a pretty good minion. This card might even be better than just straight up drawing a card, because I think you're going to want to have Rush Minions in your deck. I think this guy's solid. I don't know how much there is to say. I think if you don't have this guy in your deck, you're doing your deck wrong. I think he should show up in every Warrior deck pretty much. I think even Dead Man's Hand Warrior is going to be running this guy to try and thin their deck to get to that Dead Man's Win condition. Although that is a little bit trickier with Cultite Oracle gone, so whatever. But I think this card's just fantastic. I give it 7 stars, meta significance, one of the best cards printed of the set. This is Warrior's version of Kobold Librarian, put it that way. Next up, we have Red Band Wasp. Obviously, it doesn't fit in odd decks, but it's still a pretty strong card. I mean, I think in most circumstances, this is going to be a 2-mana 4/2 that pings the Divine Shield off of a Righteous Protector, right? This is a 2-mana 1/3, or sorry, 2-mana 4/2 that kills a 1/1, or this is a 2-mana 4/1 that kills a 2/1. In a lot of the circumstances it's going to be playing, that's what this guy is going to do. Whether or not he's killing off Kobold Librarians or pinging off Righteous Protectors or killing Paladin dudes, doesn't matter. But cards seem strong, right? Power level's good. I expected to see play. The fact that it's a beast doesn't really matter a whole lot. But yeah, this guy's good. Then we have Warpath. This is the card that makes me think that maybe like Dead Man's Hand Warrior will still find a way even after Cold Light rotates out. This is pretty strong. Warrior has a lot of synergies with Whirlwind effects. A lot of synergies. To be able to replay Whirlwind effects seems pretty good, even if you are paying a premium for it here, right? Which is why I put the raw power level at 3. I think in terms of raw power level, this is only a 3. It's the synergy that comes from Whirlwind effects with Warrior that really makes this card good. It's a pretty flexible board clear, in my view. And I think this card's going to see a lot of play in a lot of Warrior lists as a result. They're going to capitalize on the synergies of dealing damage to their own minions because there's a lot of those synergies available to them. Then we have Woodcutter's Axe. This card's great. 2-mana 2/2 weapon is fine to begin with. We've seen, for example, Jade Claws be pretty strong in Shaman, when Shaman was a thing. This card arguably has better upside than the Jade Claws. For one, it doesn't have any sort of overload, which is nice. But Death Rattle give +2/+1 to a random friendly rush minion is really strong, especially given that because it's a rush minion, it's very likely to be able to attack that turn. A solid weapon, solid stat line for the weapon, with a very good death rattle. I think this card is going to be played in a lot of warrior decks. Really, really high significance. I give this 6 stars. Then we have Rabid Worgen. This card isn't that exciting. When you're using this against a 2/3 is probably when it's at its best, right? Because then it's a 3-mana 3/1 that dealt 3 damage. That's fine, right? That's not fantastic, but that's fine. Even in the worst case scenario, this is what? This is a 3-mana deal 3. Okay. I think the raw power level isn't that crazy. You probably play it because it's odd costed, though. It's an odd cost, and if you're playing Baku Warrior and you still want to have these rush synergies and things of the sort, this is probably a card you don't mind putting in your deck because it's okay. I'm giving it low significance because I think it's pretty specific, I guess. You want to be like an odd warrior, and you also kind of want to have this rush package in there with Town Crier and whatnot, which I think you probably should have, but I'm only giving it 2 stars as a result because there's just so many other good cards offered for Warrior, honestly. The card's fine, but it's just not as good as all the other stuff that's been unlocked. Speaking of which, Militia Commander. This is a removal spell that reads, spend 4 mana, deal 5 damage, and then maybe, under some circumstances, you leave a body behind. If you run this into a 4/5, guess what? You're left with a 2/1 body. It's a 4-mana 2/1 that dealt 5 damage. That's pretty good. Right? Think of Flanking Strike. Flanking Strike's a solid mid-range value card, and that's deal 3, get a 3/3 body, right, for 4 mana. This is deal 5, get a 2/1 body, a 2/2 body, right? Depends on what you're hitting. But even in the scenario where it's simply just 4 mana, deal 5, it's pretty good. So I think this card's going to show up in a lot of these sort of mid-rangey type warriors. It's a good, proactive card, does things. It's what I'm looking for to play in Constructed, right? It's not like Call to Arms level of power, but it's one of these cards that is more than just filler in your deck. Next we have Darius Crowley. In some situations this card is better, even though it costs 1 more mana, than the Militia Commander. Right? The Militia Commander is 5 damage for 4 mana. This guy is potentially only 4 damage for 5 mana, so he has like a bigger downside. But the upside is a lot bigger too, where this guy just runs away with the game, right? He rushes in, he kills a minion, your opponent can't deal with him, then he just starts killing more stuff. I think whether or not this guy sees play really depends upon the meta, and really depends upon whether or not on turn 5 this guy is going to reliably be able to just eat something. If he can't reliably eat something, then I don't think this card sees very much play. You'd rather have something more reliable. If he is reliably eating something, this card can kind of just steal games, right? This card can just be, I start eating all of your things one by one for the rest of the game until I finally decide to go face with him and kill you. I don't know. Less reliable, but situationally stronger. I don't know where to put this card. I'm going to put him around where Militia Commander is, though, because I don't know what the board is going to look like, and whether or not Darius Crowley is going to get good value on that board. Festroot Hulk, 5 mana 2/7. After a friendly minion attacks, gain +1 attack. I'm not really sold on this. I think the comparison is to Frothing Berserker, but Frothing Berserker, if one of your friendly minions attacks and is hitting another minion, Frothing Berserker is gaining 2 attack. This guy's only gaining 1 attack. Frothing Berserker costs 3 and gives you a 2/4. You're spending 2 extra mana on this guy, but only getting 3 more stats, right? I mean, they are the stats that I want the most, which is health, given that it's a minion that's gaining attack. But still, I don't think this minion makes it. I think I'd rather have Frothing Berserkers, and I don't think I'm looking for 5 mana extra copies of Frothing Berserker, essentially, so I'm going to pass on this. Deadly Arsenal. This card's bad. Reveal a weapon from your deck, deal its attack to all minions. Not its mana cost, its attack. So I'm not going to be running Blood Razor in my deck, because otherwise this is a 6 mana Volcanic Potion. Or maybe it's a 6 mana Hellfire. Like, I'm running Woodcutter's Axe in my deck too, right? Like, this card is bad. This card is garbage. I like this art. The card is garbage. And finally we have Black Hell Gunspire. A 7 mana 3/8 that can't attack is obviously pretty bad. The text on this is okay though. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. I'm expecting some Trollden Clips. I want to see like a board full of Black Howl Gunspires just going wild. Like you're jamming Warpaths. You play 5 Warpaths. These guys are cannonballing everything. I want to see it. I don't want to play all the games it's going to take to make that dream a reality though. So I'll pass on this, but a fun meme card, and not that bad. Like most meme cards are often just awful. This one's not awful. It's okay. It's not competitive, but it's okay. I like to see that. That's kind of the power level I want to see my meme cards at. And that's it for Warrior. I will see you next time.